Hi, folks. Dan Bird here with the Daily Scan. Liberation Day. Looks like maybe the market is going to liberate us from our money. Very interesting movements after hours. I had a completely different image prepared for tonight, but that all changed after the market closed. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. But is the Mag 7 falling apart? That's the big question of the day. Let's jump into it. I am not a financial advisor. Anything I say is for educational purposes only, and you have to make your own investing decisions. So let's take a look first at what happened. I did have a subscriber request that I start off with the market summary first before I jump into some of the other things, which I will do now every night. So we'll start off here. You can see right here, market bias had a little bit of an uptick tonight. I actually had a slide prepared that said new shoots, fresh shoots coming out of the ground, maybe. But I think tomorrow all those are going to be buried. Let's take a look real quick. The S&P, see what it looks like. Again, third day higher. So 3 higher highs and higher lows. That is very positive. Went up just about to the 21, the reversion to the mean right there. We'll see tomorrow. I suspect these are all going to be falling over. Remember, I said we had some bullish divergences yesterday, and there were bullish divergences everywhere. That doesn't mean the uptrend might still continue. We'll have to see what happens. We'll see how much damage things take tomorrow. Let's look at the NASDAQ 100, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Same thing with the NASDAQ, but the ADX on all of these is still the bears are still outpacing the bulls. So not looking good. We'll look at the Russell. Russell, same thing. Looks pretty good today. Actually looks really good today. That is a bullish engulfing candle for 2 days in a row. It's engulfed fully 2 days. So that is very, very bullish. And then Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually, I think, went down today. Yeah, it went up and then came down. So that's a shooting star right there. So that's not what you want to see. Tried to make a breakout, hit the 50-day moving average, and then basically had a failed breakout. So that's a failed candle. Again, you have to wait for the next day for confirmation, but I suspect it's going to probably follow the rest of the market tomorrow. All right, let's take a look at, let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm going to start with the bad news, I guess. So first, after hours, 2 things happened. Tesla announced the worst deliveries ever. Interestingly, it wasn't as bad as what was forecasted. So it was better than expected, but the worst in its history. So Tesla, I think, will not look good. And then Trump came out with the tariffs, and there were stricter tariffs. There were tougher tariffs than expected as well. So kind of a double whammy. So the Tesla news, I think, is going to hit the Magnificent Seven. And that's what I want to look at first. There was a couple of people that asked me for some stocks, and I will get to those at the end, but I want to do this first. Let's actually finish up with the dashboard real quick. So you can see the Dow looked pretty good, S&P looked pretty good, sold off back to the open and then climbed higher at the end. Nasdaq 100, same thing, looked pretty good. The VIX was going down. Everything was lining up. Discretionary was at the top. That's the sector that Tesla is in. Communication was near the bottom, though. Technology was in the middle. But look at the advancers versus decliners. That all looked really good. So everything was looking great. Let's see, automobiles, #1 industry group, airlines, heavy construction. See if there's anything, gambling index, steel. So all of those were looking good for today. And then these are the top 10 from my top 10 list. Mr. Cooper announced being acquired by Rocket. So anyway, that's what it looks like. It actually looked pretty good today. It looked like the rally was going to take hold and maybe continue higher. However, let's take a look first at Tesla. So let me go to a new one here. And I'll bring Tesla up first. There's Tesla. Look at that. That's a big, huge bullish engulfing candle. Went right to the 200-day moving average and looked like it was just going to continue to fly higher. In fact, I was prepared to say, is Tesla rally returning? The one thing that worried me was the ADX. The bulls actually pulled back with this big rally today. So that was a warning sign, actually. So that's Tesla, but let's take a look at after hours. I'm going to look at all the Magnificent Seven after hours. And let's see, charts and tools. I want to go to symbol summary, and we'll start with Tesla. Tesla down 5%. It's actually not as bad as I thought it might be, but it was up 5% today. So basically giving back pretty much everything for today. That's actually not as bad as I thought. You know, the sell-off, if this continues, if this actually does open this way in the morning, I'm actually halfway expecting that to be the low of the day. I think now that the tariff news is out, the market will have a little bit of certainty. It'll be really interesting to watch tomorrow. This is a perfect opportunity for market makers to buy stocks for their clients at much cheaper prices. So watch what happens tomorrow. So let's look at Apple. Apple down almost 7%, down $15 today. I'm going to look at each of the charts of each of these in a minute. Meta, down 4%, down $25 after hours. Microsoft, down 2.5%, $9. Netflix, down $23, 2.5%. What else? Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, Apple we did, Amazon, Tesla we did, Amazon down $10. So all of these down like $10, $15, $20 after hours. So the after hours do not look very good. Let's just for fun, let's look at Lilly. Lilly down $19. Let's look at Oracle, just looking at some other technology names, down 4%. Let's look at Costco, because Costco was the one that actually did pretty well, down $32 for Costco. That they actually looked really good today. That was one that I was going to highlight that looked like it was really starting to rally. It's only 3%, but down $32. All right, so let's take a look now at each of the Magnificent Seven. And to do that, we can go here on the website, breakpointtrading.net. For anybody that's interested, the newsletter, free newsletter's right here. The YouTube channel link is right there as well. You can check for earnings just by clicking on this link, and as I have done many times here. But let's take a look at the Magnificent Seven using the trend model. So the trend model basically shows you the short-term, medium-term, and long-term trends of each of these, and it shows you the dates when they changed. And the first thing that should jump out is that just about every one of the Magnificent Seven prior to today had all red down signals on the short term, and they have all red right now on the medium term. So just today, two of them got up signals, but that's probably going to reverse tomorrow. So let's take a look. There's different ways you can look at this. You can look at the weekly on this one. This is the zoom out feature. The zoom in is the daily. You can look at the monthly right here. You can check for earnings, or you can look at these actual signals over here and see when all of those signals occurred. But I'm going to look at the zoom in. I'm just going to go down the list. So remember, all of these are going to be down 10 or $20 tomorrow. Probably back somewhere again. So this is Google. Google closed at 157, probably going to be at 137. So it could be below, lower than the low, lower than the recent low. So all of these may actually just go down and take out the previous low, and then watch what happens. So if it goes down and opens way down here, maybe at this level back here, which is at 145 roughly. So if it opens down here at 145 and then goes up all day, that is market makers and Wall Street getting in. So everyone, again, I am not a financial advisor. People can do whatever they think is right for them. A lot of people will probably get scared out when this happens in the morning. And that's exactly what market makers are looking for. All right, so there's Google, there's Amazon. Now remember, this is at the close today. So Amazon, let me go back here. Just take a look real quick. We'll just do this. Look at these side by side. So Amazon, 185. Let's bring this down. Amazon at 185. That will be right about at the low, right about this low right here. This actually closed at 190. So 185 will be a little bit below that. So a little bit below this previous low. And then Apple after hours was 207. So 207 would put it lower than this low. So below that low right there. Let me actually do this a little bit different. Let me do it this way because then we can see everything. So 207 would be right there. So below this low, and right in this range right over here. All right. So next was, well, I don't know the order now, but hang on one second. I'll bring that up. Let's go back here. So there we go. So Apple is the next one. Google was the first one. Apple we've done. Meta is the next one. So Meta, 554 for Meta. So let's take a look at Meta. 554 would put it right at this low, right at the low. Almost exactly. So that low right there was 553. So that would put it pretty much right at the low. Next one is Microsoft. See what that one is after hours. Microsoft is at 372. So 372 for Microsoft. We'll put it a little bit above that low, but lower than the open from 2 days ago. So remember, 2 days ago was this big, huge sell-off, and when the rally looked like the rally was just starting, that looked like what I was describing, market makers jumping in right back here. Now, they might see another opportunity to do it again. So 372 is right about there. Yeah, pretty much right at the open from 3 days ago. So next one is, NVIDIA. What did NVIDIA do after hours? NVIDIA down to 105. Actually, not too bad. So let's see what that looks like. NVIDIA at 105. This low was 108, so that's going to be below the previous low. 105 would put it right about, you can look in the bottom of that box that shows you the level. So 105 will put it basically at this previous low, actually higher than this low 3 days ago, but right at the previous low here. And that's not to say they won't continue to go down, but that's the thing to watch tomorrow. Watch where it opens and then watch what happens from the open on. and see what goes on. Next one is Tesla. So Tesla had basically a double whammy down to 267. Tesla. So this is oops, forgot the A. Tesla. Why is it dropping that off? There we go. So 267 is actually not bad. 267, the low is actually higher than today's low. So 267 for Tesla is actually I'm kind of surprised, but it could be because even though they had the worst deliveries in their history, it was better than expected. So 267 would open it right about here, right about in the middle of today's range. So actually, that's not too bad. So let's see, Netflix seemed like it took a beating today. Netflix was down to 907. Let's see what it's doing over here. So this low was 900, so a little above that 3 days ago low. So right about yesterday's low, roughly. 907 is right there. That's 907. Again, not too bad unless it continues to sell off. Broadcom, see what it did after hours so far. 163 down 5%. ABGO. 163 is right there. It's basically yesterday's low. So all of these basically are giving back 2 days worth of gains. And then we have to see what happens. Costco is the next one. That's a really interesting to watch for. Will it continue to go down or will it start going up right from the open? 934 for Costco. Let's take a look. 934 puts it right there. So lower than the last 2 days, but higher than 3 days ago open. So I'm basically right in the middle of the range from last week. So let's look at another one, Costco. Palantir, I'll do these last three, Palantir, Arista, and Lilly. Palantir after hours. 80.93, almost 81. Which is, I think, close to the low that it hit. The low here was 78.75. The low yesterday was 81.82. So pretty much right at the low from yesterday. Again, actually not too bad if it stays there. If it opens there and then continues down, then that will be bad. But that's the thing to watch. I believe that this candle right here 3 days ago on all of these charts and the whole everything that we've looked at. And I talked about this. I talked about positive divergences. I talked about the bullish candles. We looked at those the last couple of days. For those that are interested, go back and look at my last couple of days videos. I think that was market makers taking positions and getting in at cheaper prices. I think they might do the same thing tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. So Arista Networks, see what they did after hours. 75.58. Low here was 74.53. 75.58 is right about there. Basically exactly, so the low today was 75.50. Basically exactly at the low for today. So if you think market makers wanted to buy stocks today on these big, huge candles, big, huge bullish engulfing candles, and they were willing to do it at that price this morning, why wouldn't they be willing to do it if they get that price again tomorrow? So keep an eye. So the last one is Lilly. See what it did after hours. 798, down 2.5%. So we'll look at Lilly. Did I say 798? Yeah, 798. Today's low was 795. So it's actually higher than today's low. Yesterday's low was 797. So pretty much right at yesterday's low and higher than today's low. And look at that big, huge engulfing candle today. Very bullish. If it opens again there tomorrow, all these people that were willing to buy at that price this morning should be willing to buy again tomorrow. Unless, and now that the tariffs are done, this is really going to be really interesting. So watch what happens tomorrow. If the market opens low, even if it's even lower than that, and then just starts buying, there's just buying all day long, and it just continues to go up, then I would say that that is the bottom for now. It may continue to go higher. That's not saying that it will. I'm just saying watch and see what happens. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of stocks that people asked me about. I'll do that over here today. And let's see, what do we got? So these are actually, I was supposed to look at these yesterday, but get to it. Wendy's, let me, so we got a daily and a weekly here with candles. Wendy's, there's Wendy's. You see yesterday it was trying to take off. Today it pulled back, and this is before the after hours session. You can see after hours up here as well. So Wendy's right now is only down, less than 1%. Not too bad. But the whole market probably is going to follow suit. Whatever the whole market does tomorrow, I would expect these are probably going to do the same thing. On the weekly chart, it looks like it's trying to make a higher low, and it needs to do that to have a change of character. So earnings were back here on the 13th. You can see the low back here on earnings, and it took off. It looks like they had decent earnings. Then it went sideways and started to pull back. But tomorrow is going to be important. Again, from the open until the close, not the open, but what happens up until the close. All right, the next one was Jack in the Box. Just that's a falling knife. Just a falling knife, continues to go lower. Jack in the Box is not looking too great, and ended with a shooting star, which usually that's a reversal when you see them up here like this. That is a shooting star reversal candle right there. But when you see them, in the middle of a downtrend, that's basically a continuation pattern. And after hours, it's down another 3.25%. So all this is in consumer discretionary. In restaurants haven't been doing too great lately. The other one someone else asked about was Pfizer. Pfizer, again, tried to make a recovery, hit the 200-day 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then just got rejected. So that's a failed breakout. Continuing to go lower, even on the weekly over here, it looks like it's sitting right on support. So for those that want to take the risk, this might be a good time to get in. After hours, it's not down much. After hours, 21 cents. But it's very low risk because you can get in right here at about, 24.50. And let's see where this low here is basically at 24. And this low over here is at 23.75. So you could buy it here at 24.50 and put a stop at 23.50, just $1 lower. So it's a very good risk to reward ratio. However, so it may go up, but it may not go up very far. It's got lots of overhead resistance. It's got the 5-day, the 21, the 50-day there, and the 200-day way up here. And it has all these people over here that want to get out at break even at 30. So if you did get in at 24.50, I would follow your stop up if it does start to take off. That's my opinion. I'm not making a recommendation, but that's my opinion. J&J is another one. J&J had a big sell-off yesterday. Not sure what happened because this was before all the other stuff that's going to cause the market to go down. Down a little bit, down 56 cents after hours. That's not too bad. Sitting right on the 200. So that's the point where it could potentially reverse. But I don't know what this big candle is all about. That's something to do with news, probably. Doesn't look like earnings. Huge volume too on that day. So I would be reluctant on that. But again, if you did want to try to take a position, you could put your stop fairly tight, probably at about 150. 150 is right down here. That gives it enough room to move. And it's about $5 down. So it's about, what, 3%, 4% if it continues to go lower. But I don't like what happened on this. You'd have to check the news to see what's going on with that big red candle right there. All right. One last thing with these, because something I always like to do on the charts page, you can always check their industry groups and their sectors. So again, we can go back over here and let's look at J&J. It is in the pharmaceuticals group. And I think that's also where Pfizer is. Yeah, they're both in pharmaceuticals. So let's take a look at pharmaceuticals over here. First, we'll look at healthcare. It was doing okay, but it's starting to reverse. So it's sitting right on a very important support line. It actually bounced off of it today. So we'll see what happens with tomorrow's market. So it's in this wide range. It's kind of a bullhorn look. So if it does continue up, it could go all the way back up here. That's for the sector, and then pharmaceuticals right here for the industry group. And you can see it's getting close to support down here, which is at roughly about 850. And right now it's at 879, trying to make a recovery, but doesn't look too good. It's come down. It had a rally, come down again. Likely is going to have another rally, maybe back to the 21 day. If we look at this on the Keltner channels, you can see it's in the 3X Keltner right there. So likely could come back up here. This is for the industry group. If the whole industry moves higher, then those stocks probably will as well. So that's something to watch for. And let's look at the other two. Those are both in restaurants. Yeah, both restaurants. So let's go look at restaurants over here. They are in the consumer discretionary. So you can see restaurants and bars right down here. Consumer discretionary, we'll look at the sector. So we're going to take a top-down view. Sector was trying to really recover, and this partly because Tesla was trying to recover. So this is probably going to get hit tomorrow, but there's a very solid support line right there for the sector. And then let's look at restaurants and bars right here. In general, it's been trending higher, so it's actually still in an uptrend. So that's actually good. Let's just draw a trend line on here. Something like this. Or you could draw it like this. For the more recent lows. So it's hitting right on that trend line right now. And then it actually has a symmetrical triangle. So this is likely going to break out one way or the other. You don't really know yet which way, but it's sitting right at the top of the triangle. The market will not help it tomorrow, I don't think, unless what I'm saying with market makers unfolds. But right now it's sitting in this symmetrical triangle, which means it will break out one way or the other, but it doesn't really indicate which way. So that's restaurants and bars. And by the way, if you want to learn more about patterns, I did a whole session on Technical Tuesday on patterns. You can go back, it was a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. You can go back and look at those. and take a look at the patterns. There's also, for subscribers, right on the website, this is on the charts page, you can see a cheat sheet for candles and patterns right here. So there's the candles, bullish candles, and then these are the chart patterns over here. So you can see, see if there's a, yeah, it doesn't really show a symmetrical triangle, but those are some of the patterns that you can check out. Anyway, that's on the website. So that's it for tonight. Good luck. It's going to be a really interesting day tomorrow. We'll see what happens with Tesla, with the Magnificent Seven, with the tariffs, and see what how the market digests all of that information, and whether it entices market makers to buy more as retail traders jump out because they think everything is collapsing and falling apart. Magnificent Seven falling apart, which it could very well be, but we'll know tomorrow. We'll see what the market makers are going to do, and that will give an indication of which way the market is going to go in the short term. All right, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, I want to mention again, for anybody that's interested in more training, the Technical Tuesdays that I do every Tuesday. I've got quite a few of them in there now. So you can go check out some of the training in there. One of them actually is about Bitcoin, explains all about Bitcoin. It's the one that has a Santa Claus on it, so it should be easy to find. But check those out in Technical Tuesdays for anybody that's interested in more education on technical analysis and how to read charts. All right, thanks everyone. Talk to you later. Good luck tomorrow, and we'll do it again tomorrow night. Take care.